Welcome back, everybody. It is Sunday, April 8th, 2018, 12:45 p.m. All right now you are looking at current temperatures for the continental U.S. I'm sure you can see, as I can see, we are still dealing with some pretty low temperatures, especially in the north central plains here. We are in the teens. There's actually some single-digit temperatures up in these areas. I believe North Dakota and South Dakota both had about 9 to 10 degrees early this morning, which just goes to show that that cold air from Canada is still wanting to push its way down. Our jet stream is not helping us. There is a little bit of relief on the horizon, but with that is coming another pretty significant rain system. It's going to be a low pressure system that's moving in from the Pacific across basically the mid to northern area of the west and then into the mid-central plains area, and it's going to cause a low pressure system that's going to pull up a lot of moisture from the Gulf, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But first, a story that my wonderful girlfriend sent me. She is all over this weather stuff lately, guys, so I just want to give her another shout out. I know it's my girlfriend, and all boyfriends should be giving their girlfriends shout outs whenever they can, but I'm telling you, this girl just sends me information all day while she's at work, while I'm at work. We just share links and stuff with each other, things we think that would be interesting to all of you, because that is why we are here. She's going to be more involved in the channel coming up shortly. She does have an idea for her own channel and her profession as a licensed esthetician, so I'm sure a lot of you ladies out there, and even men, trust me, I've been dying to get a facial done by her at her job. Just something to look forward to in the future, guys. You're going to be hearing a lot from her, so I just want to thank her for this story. But it's a sad story. It's unfortunate, but Idaho, last night, there are reports out of Idaho Springs, to be exact. Let's look at it. It was on the South Yellowstone Highway, is where this actually took place, but dozens of geese just plummeted to the ground, obviously passing away as they hit the ground. I didn't want to get too detailed in the thumbnail, but it was apparently due to a hailstorm. Now, I can bring you, there's one article I found that doesn't show a lot of bad pictures. I don't want to get any issues with YouTube here. You can kind of see a blurry picture of one of these geese here on the ground, but basically, the article goes as follows. Dozens of geese plummeted from the sky during a severe hail thunderstorm Saturday evening, which was last night. Witnesses tell EastIdahoNews.com that the birds suddenly fell into a parking lot near Yellowstone Highway and Lincoln Road in Idaho Falls around 7 p.m. So this was fairly early last night. As a big weather system passed over that area. Now, this system is also going to get even more significant because it is our low-pressure, counterclockwise spinning system that is going to draw up moisture from the Gulf and cause a major tornado situation for the south, for areas of eastern Texas and Louisiana and Arkansas and Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, and then as far north as Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, and possibly even West Virginia, possibly even reaching as far north as southwest Pennsylvania, which is kind of scary for me now that I have made the move with my girlfriend to southeast Pennsylvania near Philadelphia. So pretty significant story when you're dealing with the massive death of animals. You don't want to see that ever, but it's our weather, guys. The weather has been so abrupt and so sorry about that, the earthquake feed. So abrupt and so changing. It's just changing so drastically. We have warm temperatures, cold temperatures, then we get a snowstorm, and then we get a big moisture system that brings tornadoes. It's just that time of year where things are just in so many different directions. And then to top it all off, guys, we are really getting close to entering our first tropical depression and then hurricane season. When you look at the temperatures of the Atlantic Ocean right now and the Gulf of Mexico, it seriously could be any day that we may be dealing with that stuff. And one thing to take note of for those of you that are, following the hurricane information, the Pacific Ocean is expected to be at a lower temperature average than usual, and what that's going to do is that's going to limit the amount of shear wind that we usually get that will break these hurricanes apart. We have a shear wind that moves west to east across the U.S. Let me get off this article here. For those of you that want to visit this article about the geese, it is eastidahonews.com, and you'll see a link in that first tab there. So if anyone's interested, please go check that out. Let's see what we got here. Okay, current temperatures, we covered that. All right, let's look at our GFS model here and look at what's going to be going on. Now, if you look right down here, this low pressure system here, this is what came over Idaho and caused that issue yesterday with the geese situation. So, as we move forward in time with this system, you're going to notice something. One of these systems passes right over the northeast here. That's going to be a rain situation. We'll talk about that in a later video. I'm going to be focusing on a system that's coming after this that is looking to be very significant, causing major storms and wind, basically in Tornado Valley or Tornado Alley. I'm going to be saying that all the time now because you know, tomato, as far as I'm concerned. But this low pressure system here, we got kind of tight lines going on here. Could bring a lot of wind to people near the Great Lakes area. We got Michigan in there, and then we have New York and Pennsylvania. This is going to be a situation for us. It looks like it's going to be more rain than snow. That snow stays above into the Canada areas, which is what we want. We want spring. It's a lot easier to deal with these storms when it is warmer out than it is when these things become massive snowstorms and we are stuck indoors. We are just sick of it. We're done with it. It's over. See you later, winter of 2018. See you next year. We are done. So let's move on to some more interesting stuff. Interesting as far as weather goes, not interesting as far as the safety of people, because we have a lot of stuff going on, guys, and here you are seeing it with your own eyes. We could be dealing with a snow situation in the northern plains. We're talking North Dakota, South Dakota, looks like the north area of Nebraska, right around here. And then a lot of Minnesota could be dealing with snow, and then that kind of bends off into Canada, a little bit of the areas near the Great Lakes, but that low pressure right here is what I want you to focus on. I'm going to back up a few frames. We can see where it originates from. You can see it's right around the Rockies, you want to say, and then it kind of dips down into Colorado and then Nebraska area, and then as it moves over the Central Plains, it gains momentum and it gets a lot tighter. We got a lot of rings going on here, and that means a lot of wind. And what that wind is going to do is it's moving in a counterclockwise motion, and that's going to start drawing up moisture from the Gulf. And that's when we start getting our tornado situations. You get that moisture pulled up into this area. We start seeing our typical nine shape here. You got snow and rain mix here. Then we have our low pressure heading towards the Great Lakes, and you can see this long band here of moisture. Sorry about the earthquake alerts, guys. I have the tablet right next to me. Just bear with me on that one. And you can see it starts affecting areas of the eastern parts of Texas and then into Louisiana. So this is a big rain moisture system that we're going to be dealing with going all the way up the Ohio River Valley. And then as we move forward, you can see some of this severe weather begins to show itself. We're talking the west areas, the west north of Mississippi, and then into Tennessee and Kentucky. This is tornado central right here. This will bring tornado warnings and watches, absolutely. And then we have to worry about the most eastern areas of Texas close to the Gulf and mid to west Louisiana as well. But as I move forward here, you can see it begins to draw more moisture out of the Gulf, which is very warm, so this moisture is easily going to be pulled up and pulled, and it's all due to this low system here. This low system is drawing enough power in the atmosphere as it makes its counterclockwise turn that it's going to pull this moisture up, and we're going to be dealing with an entire East Coast rain situation basically going from the 14th through the 17th, and we're talking severe too. A lot of these charts are showing a lot of severe weather. We have a big strip here going over Florida, by the Orlando area, straight through Jacksonville, and then into the Atlantic Ocean. And the problems with systems like these, when they cross over a state, is that they are fueled by either side. So both sides of these are in the ocean, gaining moisture and then dumping it all over that thinner part of Florida. So that's going to be something for people in Florida to look out for. I believe this will stay a little bit inland and move up into the Georgia area and South Carolina. So those of you that watch my channel from those states, please stay tuned, because we're going to be following this system closely. And then that low pressure stays over the northeast. So it just goes to show how much power these systems actually have to be able to draw moisture from over 2,000 miles away. I'm going to back up here again. You could see that rain, snow, and the sleet line right here, and then we got a snow. This could potentially be a named winter storm, guys. I know it's spring, but it's just the way things work at the weather centers here. They still call these winter storms, even though they're happening in spring. I mean, you could call it a spring snowstorm. You can call it whatever you want. It doesn't change what it is. But yes, here we have it. We got the snow up here. We got it pancaked over the mix area here, and then we got that low pressure just under it, which is just spinning up this moisture. So that is definitely going to be something to keep an eye on. You can see those yellows are the severe weathers. Whenever you get those deep reds, that is super, super severe. So that's just the time of the year that we're in, guys. So we're going to move on here. I'm going to show you another chart. Alright, and I got you here on weather.cod.edu. This is another good site that we use. We've been using a lot, actually, for our winter storms at least. But once again, we're at the 200 frame. This is the last frame we have here. I want you to pay attention right here, guys. You begin to see that low pressure that we're talking about that's going to end up drawing this moisture up into the northeast and actually cause this tornado situation we're going to be dealing with. We could be dealing with tornadoes as early as today. There were tornado warnings and watches out for last night in areas of the Tornado Valley. I'm not exactly sure where those warnings and watches were. All I know is that it's because of the moisture that's been brought up. Now, if I back up here, you'll kind of get an idea. We had this exploding system going on in the Gulf that went right over Florida. So Florida got some pretty decent rain from this, especially areas to the east of Lake Okeechobee, or to the west rather of Lake Okeechobee. And then you see this big system moving out, and that's also why you're seeing these big lightning swarms out in the Atlantic Ocean now. So for those of you that are trying to tie together the lightning and moisture system, as these systems move into warmer weather or warmer climates, they begin to the active lightning follows. So that is why you're seeing with that's a live lightning strike right there. You see this big grouping of lightning here. That is directly due to the fact that this moisture system is now over the Atlantic Ocean, which is right there. So you can see that band right here. That is why it matches where this lightning is. So for those of you that are trying to learn this stuff, there's a good tool for you to use right here. This chart compared to the lightning chart, always a good use. Two wonderful charts. But once again, this low pressure system is what we want to watch out for. This is going to make its way down across the Great Lakes, and then you're going to start seeing all that moisture being pulled up through Louisiana and into Mississippi, and then more than likely it'll be that northwest area of Alabama, but then Tennessee and Kentucky, you're going to be at a lot of risk for this too. And then we saw that yellow band going straight over Florida. So Florida, you're not out of the loop here for tornadoes either. And like I said, if they're calling for the possibility of tornadoes flaring up in the southern areas of Pennsylvania, you know it's a serious system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to backtrack this really quick for you guys. I'm just going to give you an idea. This is the system that was we can't backtrack enough, but this is the system that passed over Idaho that caused that issue with the geese in Idaho Falls. So we know that this system right here is a hail creator. We know that there's going to be hail from this. So as time went on, there were hail reports in Nebraska. We had hail reports in Kansas here. That was a refresh. Sorry about that. Let me back up here. And that's about where we were right there. There were some hail reports actually in the southwest corner of Iowa, and then in Missouri as well. So basically what we can expect is that this system is a hail creator, so anywhere it goes we may be getting those hail warnings. And then right after that passes, we have a moisture system that moves over the northeast, and then once again this low pressure system is going to start moving this way, and it's going to draw all that moisture up from here, and then that's when we're going to be dealing with this system I just showed you on Tropical Tidbits. So just basically a future outlook of what we're going to expect here. There is that low pressure forming right over, looks to be Kansas and Nebraska border, and then yeah, it'll move right into Missouri and Iowa, and then after that is when it really starts to take a hold of the moisture. It's going to pull it all the way up. Now some of this moisture could be coming from the Pacific over the Baja in Mexico and then through Texas, and some of it is going to be drawn up this way. So we have two different fuel sources for the system, which means a lot of rain, guys. And the temperatures are just getting to that point where we're going to miss the snow, but it's going to be torrential downpours. The entire East Coast is going to be covered in rain basically from the 14th through the 17th. So we're switching from shovels and heavy jackets and gloves to umbrellas and rubber rain jackets and rubber duck boots. So it's just the time of the year, guys. That's what we're going to be dealing with, and we're right in the middle of tornado season, and then right after that, we don't get a break. We're going right into an active hurricane season. A study at Georgia State says that they're expecting 10 hurricanes, 4 to 5 of them to be significant. I am no professional, so my opinion here is exactly that, my opinion. I think it's going to be a lot more significant than that because of the fact that the Pacific Ocean is going to be cooler than usual. That shear wind that usually kills these storms before they get to the U.S. is not going to be there as much, guys. So these hurricanes are going to form off Cape Verde, off the coast of Africa, the western coast, and they're going to follow that belt all the way into the islands here, Bahamas, and they're going to decide whether they're going to go up to the east or if they're going to go into the Gulf. So it is crunch time in Weather City, and it's crunch time for me, so I don't care if I have to work 40, 50 hours a week. I will be here to update you guys, whether it's on my lunch break with my phone or when it's on my days off like today, where I can sit here and actually show you guys charts. So I just want you to know I appreciate every single one of you. The comments are amazing. They keep me motivated. It's amazing having an amazing girlfriend that is just as interested in this stuff as I am. She's a huge help, always sending me information when I don't have the time to do it. So when you guys get a chance, if you don't mind, I would love for you to thank her in the comments section. And, you know, it is what it is. We're a great team, and we're going to make this work for you guys. We want to bring you the most accurate information without going into the prediction stuff. We don't like doing that. We don't like scaring people. We want to bring you information that we know is credible, and we show it to you live on these screens. So that is the whole point of this channel. It's going to continue to stay that way. With that said, guys, I hope everyone's having a great weekend. It is Sunday. We get Monday tomorrow, back to the work week, but that's not going to stop the information flow. So I just want to let you guys know that. Have a great rest of your day, guys. It is sunny and beautiful here in Southeast Pennsylvania. So I'm going to go out and get some stuff done, and then I will be back for an evening update. We're going to be doing some news information. We'll incorporate the weather to it as well, but the news in the country is just as important as the weather. And that's where we're at, guys. Thank you so much for taking your time out on a Sunday to listen to me, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Monday's coming. Thank you all very much. Take care.